side. He tried the corner, and personally, I think we got hosed on that call.
Hit to left and deep. Get up! Get up! Get up! Gone for Hoskins.
Alrighty, Chasers, welcome back to another edition of the Qui Chasin podcast. We're a little snarky, a little irreverent, but always unqualified. I'm Alex Kruger. That's Danny Gerb. Danny, say hi to the folks.
Hey everyone, how you doing tonight, Alex?
You know what? I'm here. It's a gentleman's 15 degrees outside. We lost just one of the icons of baseball tonight, Bob Uecker.
Right.
Rest in peace, my friend, that I didn't know. But yeah, so other than that, life's great. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I also lost about 2 inches too. It is cold out there.
I like it.
Technically a Phillies podcast. So,
Technically.
yeah, that's all I got, man. It is
Okay,
the doldrums.
so that's it.
The doldrums of the year.
It is ludicrous that it is January 16th, and again, it's like 22 degrees outside, and we're here to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies. I think it's a little silly to be talking about baseball in this weather.
Technically a Phillies podcast.
We are technically a Phillies podcast, but honestly, there isn't even that much to talk about. There is one thing, and I have to imagine that someone in the front office or in the media team or something is a huge fan of the Qui Chasin podcast, as you are. And they wanted to honor us in our first year, which is why they named the video yearbook Chasing Greatness. Chasing Greatness.
Yeah.
Danny, your thoughts?
My thoughts were the comments under that post were like, yeah, sure was a lot of chasing, so I'm into it. Yeah, like
the lack of awareness to put the word chasing on your, which again, if you're going to memorialize the 2024 Philadelphia Phillies season, yeah, you put chasing on the yearbook. That's absolutely true. I think perhaps it should be called Quit Chasing Greatness and Grab It. But hey, I'm not on the team. I did not watch the video yearbook. Danny, I thought it was going to be like one of these, I got the attention span of a millennial that grew up on Vine and whatnot. And I thought it was going to be like a 3-minute, like kind of hype video or something.
No.
I should have known better. That would be more than that. But you said it's like an hour long.
It's something like that. I take it you haven't watched them before.
No. So here's the thing. I would only want to watch like 2008. Like I only really want to watch when the final game is a victorious one. Like, I don't know. Like, does that make me a fair weather fan? I don't think so. It's just like I've got better things to do at my time than to watch losing.
Yeah, I'm with you. So no, they're long. They break down the season. They get into all of it. Though there's even a lull in the middle of them usually where they tell you what charities they gave what to. Like they're long. This one was an hour and 22 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. It has over 34,000 views. So
wow.
People relive that 34,000 views amount. That is just on the Facebook page or on the YouTube.
Oh, wow.
On the YouTube, the Facebook page had like another 17,000 views last time I looked. It's probably up there because that was like the day after.
Okay. Well, as we know, all these view captures are a bit flawed, but I don't doubt that it's been seen a ton. What was your immediate takeaways? What did you think?
My immediate takeaway was it. So Kruk narrates it this year.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and he is the saving grace of this whole thing. If it wasn't for the Krucker, I don't know how far I would have gotten into it because it starts off with the whole 30 teams, 12 make it to playoffs, 1 wins it all type garbage. But for the elite teams, it's a 6-month slog through the summer to get there. And I was like, we're calling this team elite. Like,
I mean, so here, like, okay, I don't know, but they're still ranked very high on all of the quote unquote experts and pundits. Like, do they not see the cliff coming and we do? Like, are we just way too hypercritical of them, or is it the simple fact that, like, off the top of my head, they're easily the fourth best team in the NL
I'm
at
fifth
best?
or sixth, really.
Right.
Yeah. Well, NL maybe four, sure.
Yeah. I'll go NL, not MLB, but NL.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at that MLB graph that you sent me, and I was like, they're sixth on this list, but that
It's
was
crazy.
with like the Yankees and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So anyways, Crucker made it worth it. Honestly, just finding out that Crux the narrator, I am more inclined to check it out. Like, has Ruben ever done one of these?
I don't know. I've watched a handful of them ever since our Boys on the High Hopes podcast started talking about them, is when I started watching them. So it's not like I was one of these guys that was counting down to the yearbook all the time until a certain year. But no, he makes it a little palatable. He weaves his cruckness in them. There's some old videos of him as a Phil inserted in and doing his antics from the 90s. They do a big chunk of talking about CBP and its 20th, celebrating it.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
For
Last year
20
was
years all season.
Okay.
So it made it palatable. It's palatable.
As palatable as anything celebrating a disappointing season can be.
It's funny, you watch it and they go through the whole like 6 weeks of just mediocre baseball after London, and they talk about just how dreadful the team was for this huge chunk of time, and it ends with the Mets, obviously, and then like the last handful of clips of it is Dombrowski doing his "we're a good team" thing, which like so they got bounced in the playoffs. That happens, and you're like, I just watched a condensed version of them sucking ass around.
And you're gonna put the button on it of like, what are you gonna do? Like,
like the Dombrowski stuff at the very end of that video is just even more aggravating than it was the first time we heard it, because I saw a condensed version of it.
As much as you moved the needle by telling me that Kruk narrated it, it immediately lost all of that headway by telling me it freaking ends with the Dumbo presser. Come on.
Well, stop it when they get to New York and you'll be fine.
I normally would anyways, but I'm a completionist. If I start something, I got to finish it.
I wanted to see how they ended it. Not good.
Who wouldn't? Not well. Not well.
I'd
take the Moneyball ending over that. Just show me Dombrowski turning the radio on and off periodically.
Moneyball, money shot, any sort of ending is better.
Any sort of ending, and Danny, I don't think it's going to be that fun of a year. We touched on it last week, and I just want to kind of reiterate that. And you know what? We've had our fun. 22. The ending was super magical. We all had high hopes. And then 2023, we got the Turner piece. We thought, cool, things are going to be great. Harper comes back in the DH role, and it's like, all right, this will work. We do it to Atlanta again, and then we kind of underperform in the next round. And then came last year. We start mediocre. We go to scorching hot before going to mostly tepid, and then pretty rough the last like month. And then we completely underperform in the playoffs. So the time for having fun, unfortunately, is over. Like, it's time to do the job. The job is get us a parade. That's when I'll be okay with like Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm and Brandon Marsh throwing sunflower seeds and bubble gum at people. Like, once we've gone down Broad Street, we can bring that back. But until then, like, we gotta be professional. I never thought I'd be one of those guys. Like, I want people to have fun, but with the amount of money that a lot of those players are making and the way that they've underperformed, given how much the fans have still supported them and been behind them, like, no, you got to show it. Come on, knock off the crap and let's bring it home.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Listen, you can have fun, you can be loose, and you can be an entertaining team to watch. But if I see Marsh and Stott after every win on my television screen throwing gum and sunflower seeds in someone's hair when they can't get around on a fastball for another season, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose my mind.
I
Lose
agree.
my mind. I'm not saying don't have fun. Don't be loose. I'm not
Right.
saying that. I'm just
But like
saying
on one of these games where they win, but like there's no real standout star, so they just kind of throw someone out there. Like those are the days you can skip. If someone has a great big moment, like cool, yeah, have fun. If it's a Weston Wilson, walk off, or I mean, either way, you're still gonna. But if someone has like a really cool game and they get the interview, sure, have some fun with it. But like this every game stuff, like nah, we're over that. Let's on to tomorrow. On to tomorrow.
especially
Let's
if
keep
you're
going.
at some, 174 against lefty is 0 for 19. Maybe don't be sneaking up on someone and getting some camera time that night. Maybe just go inside.
Amen. So real quick, not to completely change topics, but I heard maybe on High Hopes or something that apparently Bryson Stott was dealing with an elbow injury all of last year. Did you know about that?
I heard about it when you heard about it.
Okay. So does that explain the platoon approach and why they were giving him extra time off? Does that explain completely why he regressed at the plate? And it makes perfect sense. Why don't they? I guess there's a competitive advantage to not like tipping your hand there, but damn, it'd be great from a fan base to know these things so that we could have that explanation. Like instead of me thinking, oh crap, Bryson Stott was just a 1-year wonder, it's Bryson Stott was actually dealing with something last year. That was the regression reason, most likely.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think there is a culture of an excuse going on in Philadelphia. And we'll get to this and love it or hate it. Our boy Cassie, if you watch that interview, he's talking about the shadows at CBP during the day of during the playoffs. Like, yo, bro, we're not doing that. We're not doing this stuff anymore.
Is
So,
the
like,
outfield
is
signage
it the
still?
shadows? Is it Stott's elbow or wrist? I don't know. It all just seems like excuses at this point. So I don't know.
Injury I can allow to be an excuse because to me an injury isn't an excuse, it's an explanation. Shadows is an excuse. You're a professional ball player. Like you can figure that out. I'm pretty sure.
Can't believe it's January and we're still talking about these damn shadows.
Well, all right, you got me on that one. But anyways, Danny, do you want to elaborate more on what we're going to utilize our role as this year? I don't know if I explained it well enough.
Did you say we're going to be the fun police?
I don't think I actually used those words. No, we're going to be the fun police.
We're going to be the fun police, and we're going to lock people up. We're going to put them away. We are going to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner, much like most cops think they are when they pull you over for going 7 over the speed limit. But
that's true.
But we actually are going to be that.
We are. We will not be executing anyone. So just to clarify on that one.
It's not off the table. We've went back on things we said before. So it's not off the table.
Moving along, friends. Danny, anything else that you would like to say about our beloved Philadelphia Phillies?
No, not really. Hoffman's gone.
Oh man, I'm real sad that Hoffman's up in Toronto. Thankfully, he's not going to do any damage to anyone up there. He unfortunately will kind of fade into irrelevance, but he was great while he mattered, man. God love him. He got paid. Good for him.
He had a deal with the Braves before he failed that physical.
Now that is true, but he's about to have universal health care, so
he failed 2 physicals. That's of note.
That is of note. That's fascinating. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. It's Philly, man. We signed the Crucker. You'll pass your physical.
Well, we'll see what happens with him. But I mean, I don't like where that where our bullpen stands right now. But we'll get into that in much later episodes.
In theory, you're putting Chris Sanchez in your middle reliever role. If Painter does come up,
you're taking Sanchez out of a starter. He's not your 4th starter.
So, like, just listen to High Hopes, man. They were saying Luzardo's 3, most likely, and then Ranger 4, Painter 5.
Painter's gonna have like 100.
He's got to have a pitch limit. So, wouldn't it make sense then to have Sanchez in the bullpen for those moments, and then when you got to give Painter a day off, Sanchez is there? I don't
want to get into the game. I don't want to.
No GM.
Yeah, well, no, that I don't want to. I hate playing the GM game, but I also, for the Phils in my starting rotation don't want to get into the move them in and out of roles. I mean, the guy was cooking last year as the fourth starter. Why are you going to put him in the pen?
That's almost the thing. If Painter does come up and pitch,
whose idea was that?
Jack? James?
Oh,
it's the only Phillies I consume anymore is High Hopes.
Was he doing one of his bits? That had to have been a bit.
It could have been.
Had to have been.
It could have been. I don't know. You'll see.
Was that a Jack bit to get Painter the ace of the rotation?
I mean, that's always on the table. Yes,
you know, like step one, get Sanchez in the bullpen, make him the fifth starter. By May, he's the ace of the rotation.
I like it.
You know that
I like where your head's at. I like where your conspiracy hat is on.
We're on to you, Jack.
We see you from a mile away. Friend of the show, Jack Fritz. And I actually mean it when I say it this time. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's about it. Oh, I want to touch on Bob Uecker for one moment.
Please.
You kind of we did that tribute to him. We put his calls in our intro, got rid of our Phil's calls and put some Ute calls in tribute to him. But what I found interesting was the news of his death. Oh my goodness, the screenshot didn't take. Anyways, the Hollywood Reporter headline was light hitting catcher turned comedian.
I had no idea he was such a bad baseball player until today.
Well, he talked about how he's talked about how bad he was, and
but I didn't know if that was just like glib or no. Apparently, statistically, he really was that bad.
Yeah, he wasn't that good.
It wasn't that good.
He talked about it, and he was self-aware about it, and he's a comedian, so obviously he would joke about it, and that's one thing. But on the day of your death, Hollywood Reporter's like, light-hitting catcher turned comedian. Like, come on, they did him a little dirty.
A little bit. But I mean, when I think of it's the Hollywood Reporter. So, you know what, though, and little inside baseball for the fandom, Danny and I were talking about that intro before we started. And one of the things we were discussing was like, all right, do we want to add in like Bob Uecker's last ever call? And I thought about it for like 0.03 seconds. And I said to him, like, wait, wasn't that the call that advanced the Mets to face us? Danny's like, yes. I was like, no, I do not want the last call of Bob Uecker's life, career, etc., because it is telling us that the Mets are about to come to our house and wreck our dreams. So for all of your sake, I declined having that call in. I'm sure you can find it somewhere if you need to hear it. It won't be.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have it all queued up. I have it all edited and cleaned up. You get, if you want to hear it, you can hit us up and we'll send it to you. We'll give you a shout out, or you just Google it like I did.
I mean, that would work too, sure, but why Google when you can interact with us, Danny? In fact, I know a guy that wants to tell you about that. Danny, what do you say we hit up some ads?
Yeah, sure. We're going to go on a break because we haven't been on one in a while, right?
We'll be back.
All right.
Hey, SpongeBob, check out my new shirt.
Patrick, is that a heavy metal unicorn?
Uh-huh.
I want one.
Well then, click the link in the episode description to go to the Qui Chasin merchandise store and get one.
Absolutely. Wait, what's a Qui Chasin?
Huh, even I know what Qui Chasin is.
Well, what is it, Squidward?
Just look up Qui Chasin Podcast on social media. I've got customers lining up.
Did somebody say Qui Chasin?
Wow, Mr. Krabs, you have a Qui Chasin coffee mug, hoodie, t-shirt, and is that a shirt for Gary?
Meow.
It sure is. The prices are so low, I feel like I'm getting it for free. And you know how I love to keep on to me monies.
Come on, Patrick, let's visit the Qui Chasin store. Well, hey there, Chase Nation. Alex Kruger here. As our friends from Bikini Bottom go shopping, don't forget to email us at quitchasinpodcast@gmail.com if you want to share feedback, or maybe even if you have an idea for an episode of Quit Chasing After Dark. Send it on over. And now, back to the show.
All right.
I'm so proud of that.
I know you are.
I love it.
I know you do.
That felt good. You know, it felt good having a break in the show again before we go into our bits.
It did. It really did.
It really felt good. And funnily enough, folks, depending on when you're listening to this episode, the link for our merchandise store may or may not be up. We've run into some technical difficulties. But at some point, we will have a merchandise link. And when we do, I will retroactively add it to this bio. It's also on all of our social media, or just email us and I'll send it to you once it's ready. Don't worry.
If there's a link that you see, it's good, it works. Don't worry about it. There may or may not be a different link in the future. That's on the back end. If you see one, click on it. It works.
We're a well-oiled machine, folks. Well-oiled machine. Danny, speaking of going into our bits, fantastic transition. One of the things I've always loved about Amped Up is it can be amped up for good or amped up for evil. And this week I am super amped up for good. Last Friday, it was my daughter's school was having their annual skate night at the Olympic Skating Rink in Enola, Pennsylvania. And anyone that has spent any time in central Pennsylvania has most likely spent some time at the Olympic Skating Rink and experienced a skate night just like the one we had. And Danny, when you saw the pictures on Facebook of the Olympic, you had the perfect quote, which was, "I can smell those walls."
Absolutely, you can.
What was your what was the Olympic to you growing up?
Oh, so not only was it like school parties or scout parties or but yeah, other people's private birthdays. At one point, it was before Twin Ponds got there. It was the Friday or Saturday night, whatever night. I think Saturday night.
It was Saturday night for sure.
Yeah, it was that place. It is where skated around and you got to meet the other girls from other schools.
Yes.
You get some numbers, you talk to them on the phone for a little bit. That was
cross the battle lines there.
Yeah.
What was great was like when you had a cousin that went to another school that was going to a party, and like, yeah, you can come with. Like, cool, like this is a whole new world of kids I'm being introduced to. This is crazy. Because again, children, that was before social media. We didn't have many opportunities to interact with the randos in the other schools.
Yeah, that was our like social lifeblood, was the Olympic roller skating rink. Man, I think of that place fondly. I saw those walls. I'm glad they hadn't changed, but like
not one freaking bit. I swear to there's no way in hell they haven't repainted though in the last 25 years. Honestly, no, more than that, like 30 years since I've been there. There's no way that they have not needed to repaint. But if they did, that means they did the exact same design, colors, everything. And I love that because it has not aged a day. And I mean that in the best way possible. Dude, the concession stand, I don't know if they accept credit cards or not, because I made sure to have no, they are a cash only establishment now that I remember that. But like $2 for a hamburger, $1.50 for a slice of pizza, like $19, I fed my family like kings. It was airport food, but still, it was awesome.
So I have to ask, because this is something I always remember of the place. Was there a no smoking sign?
No.
Okay, so something
not that I saw.
Maybe
there was.
So I remember the big red, like where the tables are. Right beside the concession stand, there was a big red, like one of those metal signs.
Yeah.
Screwed into the wall that said no. It said no smoking for people 16 years or younger. And that because at that point it was, and then that was crossed out and that said 18. Yeah, and I would always remember, like, how old is this sign that they did that? And I was just assuming that it's probably still there with crossed out to whatever 35 now or whatever
now.
it is.
It'd be 21.
Yeah.
No, because I would have noticed a sign that had a cross out with a new number. That would have absolutely piqued my interest.
It was there for the longest time.
Yeah,
when we were growing up.
I mean, you can't smoke inside anywhere anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Although that would have been the perfect type of place to smoke in high school, like when your parents weren't around, like to get away with it. That would be a great, like going to Club Med, the pool hall, or the diner.
Yeah, sneaking smokes and doing cardio activities always go hand in hand. So
the stupidity of youth, but no. So it got me amped up because it was so much fun. And I got to ask you, back in those days, how often did you see adults on the floor, not with kids, but just like living their best life and skating?
If they were, I'm sure they were there. They had to have been there, right?
I don't know. I like
some
not,
eccentric guy doing the whoop de
there was
whoops.
definitely always at least because I went to the Star Skating Rink in Swatara because I lived in
yeah.
Steelton. Oh, stop with your little. All right, the Star was fine. All right, it's a gun range now, but it's okay. So no, there was always this one guy, and he was like Disco Stew, and like he was always there on his quad skates, and like he was really good.
Disco Stew, don't advertise.
Don't need to. I'm glad we got The Simpsons in. It's been a while.
It has been.
But no, I saw a lot of adults that like they weren't skating with their kids. They were just having fun. I was one of them, to be honest. Like I was hanging out with the kids, like doing my thing. But I also had plenty of laps. That was just me having a good old time at the skating rink. And I feel like there's a level of nostalgia that our generation has for the skating rink, which is why when we go back, we absolutely skate, like both on our own and with the kids. And I have to wonder why there hasn't been a roller skating rink renaissance. Like we've got car washes every 3 blocks. Why can't we get a couple more skating rinks?
Well, how often do your girls go?
This was their very first time. So Tay's first time on skates.
I guess they are a little young,
10
right?
and 6, and I live on 2 hills, so having skates for the house is irrelevant. But now they skate everywhere in the house because we got them skates for Christmas. But yeah, I definitely think we're going to become a skating family. I mean, it's again dirt cheap and such a good activity, both physically and just time consumably.
So they liked it. They enjoyed it.
Oh, they loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Did they play the dice game?
They did not play the dice game, man.
Ah, I love the dice game.
We limboed.
Yeah,
we had the races. We did the hokey pokey, but that was it. No dice game. I was really disappointed. The dice game was always my favorite.
It was always my favorite too.
Always my favorite, man.
Because I couldn't do the limbo. I would do the races, but always get smoked by someone.
I'm always the idiot that lines up on the end, like on the far outside, that has to go the furthest distance.
Yeah,
so, yeah. I'm just there for the scenic race.
But the dice game, that's the one I had a shot at.
Dude, the dice game was where it was at, to folks that don't know, the skating rink would have 6 designated areas around it, and they would play music and you would skate around, and then they would throw a dice. And as the dice is rolling, you have to pick where you're going to stand. If you are standing on the spot that the dice lands on, you're out. And you keep going until there's only one person left, and they are the winner. It is so much fun.
So I'm gonna tell a Papa Pupo, Anthony Pupo story, not a Matty P story.
Okay, all right, Anthony Pupo.
Anthony Pupo story.
So he wasn't wearing deodorant. No, go ahead.
And to this day, because it was just the Christmas holiday not so long ago, so I was hearing this song constantly, and I have a memory associated with it that involves the Olympic skating rink. Anthony Pupo in that song. It was like the Christmas party or the Friday, before Christmas break or something. Everyone, we were all there. All the St. Margaret Mary's kids, we were all ready to go.
Why wouldn't what? Why wouldn't you guys just go to the Star? But no, you're right. You are close to the Olympic from St. Max. Anyways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, like Pupo got to skate with one of the crushes during the couple skate or something. So he was on cloud 9 the rest of the night.
Oh, that's a dangerous thing.
Right. And I remember it was the last skate of the night, and he's still on cloud 9. We're skating around, and it's the Feed the World song. Don't they know it's Christmas time?
Awesome.
Yeah. And he like looks at, I'm skating by, and he looks at me, and he's just like, perfect night. And what a perfect song to end to. And like, you know what? Maybe I was in my feels. And at that time, I remember being all like, feed the world and skating around. That song comes on now. I'm like, this song is utter garbage.
It sure is.
But it was the perfect song.
You know,
you got to hold hands with someone. I don't know.
There are some songs that you have to hear when you're skating. I think of the Office episode where Dwight, Daryl, and Andy go to the skating rink, and the guy's like, "I can play whatever you want. What do you want?" He's like, "Dave Matthews, deep cuts only, no hits." And instantly, like, ants go marching or whatever comes on. It's like, all right, you know what? That'll work. And
Oh yeah.
I was getting one of those little like 6-year-old kid hold on to the things for balance things for Tay. And I asked the guy, I was like, hey, out of curiosity, like, can you still do requests? And he's like, depends. What are you thinking? I said,
Did you say it?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh,
Good vibrations. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that was the closeout song of the night was Good Vibrations.
Get out of town. I thought you were going to say Dave Matthews, the deep cuts.
I thought about it, but I don't like Dave Matthews. I did not want to skate to Dave Matthews. I did want to skate to Marky Mark.
Yeah. I would have just been curious if he got the reference.
I would too, but again, wasn't going to ruin my
How old was
perfect
this guy?
night. Our dad's age. He was an older dude. Yeah.
He might have gotten it. Well, that's
He
why
may
he
have
liked Marky
gotten it.
Mark.
That's true. He was like, once I said Marky Mark, he like kind of had this like half smile, like, all right, this dude gets it. So
I love it.
I do
Absolutely
too.
love it.
It was so much fun.
So obviously the comment resonated because the place does have a distinct smell.
It does.
What is that smell?
The 90s. So here's the thing. It's preteen funk, to be honest. It is BO, I think. I think there's an odd before we were all old enough to really understand what BO was and to know how to like signal it out or single it out in an odor sphere. But now that we're adults and we have experience, like I didn't quite smell it at first, but by the second hour, I was like, oh God, now I can smell the walls. Like it's BO.
I can smell it right when I walk in that place, or at least could back in the day. So here's the deal. I went on a fact-finding mission my whole life.
Okay.
I have a theory.
This is going to be awesome.
Did you ever get new money? Oh, new money.
You're like a crisp bill from the bank?
Yes, crisp bill from the bank. Right.
Yeah.
Smells like the roller rink.
So it's a money laundering front?
No, so I think whatever oils they're using, that the Fed's using to pump this stuff out is the same oil that they're using for the ball bearings or wheels or whatever. And it's just that oil because new money smells exactly like the Olympic skating rink, and fight me on that.
Huh. I am excited to do an experiment now. I can't wait to find out. Maybe there is something in the grease, grease the machine, grease the wheels, whatever. Maybe it's Lysol disinfectant. Because there was a lot of that going around.
Danny sniffing dollars, Gerb.
Danny sniffing dollars, Gerb.
Sniffing dollars. That actually makes me sound like a cokehead, doesn't it?
Or a perv. Yeah, no, for sure. So Danny, that's the good side of Amped Up. That's the happy side of Amped Up. What's got you amped up? Is it also happy?
For me, yes. For me and the large majority of Philadelphians, it is wonderful news. Early Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon, however you want to work that. Mid Sunday afternoon. There we go.
Early evening.
It wasn't early evening. It was definitely mid afternoon.
Okay. So
early mid afternoon. Yeah, sure. 3:00. News started to break of the Sixers backing out on the proposed Market East new arena plan and making a deal with Comcast and the Flyers for 50% ownership of the building. And it turned out it was true, and it was a gigantic win for the city of Philadelphia, for the people of Philadelphia who did not want this stadium in Market East, for the Chinatown neighborhood and the neighborhoods all around it. This was a bad idea from the beginning. The majority of Philadelphians felt that way. The majority of Philadelphians did not want that stadium there. City council voted on it 12-5. Those 12 people were dead set on not listening to the city and pushing through billionaires and millionaires' interests, despite the tons and tons of research and data saying this is an absolute terrible thing for the city. And they just completely plowed through with it just to get completely humiliated and clowned by the Sixers as they stay in South Philadelphia. They came to an agreement with the Flyers and Comcast, and there will be a new stadium built in the stadium district which it has come to known as for a reason, by 2031. So good news all around. It is a win-win. The unions are still going to get their work. The Flyers and Sixers are going to be part owners in the building. The Sixers got what they wanted. The Flyers are getting a new building out of it. The union workers are getting work still that did not get taken away from them. Chinatown is saved. The city of Philadelphia desperately got the stadium where the city, despite what city government wanted, it is where it should be, where the people want it. The people do have the power, and there is egg on face in local city government, and people are blasting them and clowning them as they should. And I am one of them. There is a list of the 12 council people council persons who have voted. Yeah, the council peeps who have voted yes for the arena. That will stay up until they are all voted out. So,
bada bing.
Check it out. Good news. Good news.
Couple of questions from a 215 interloper just to make sure I'm understanding what's going on here. So as it stands right now, the Sixers/Flyers arena is right by the Eagles and the Phillies stadiums, correct?
That is correct.
And that's also by the casino.
That is correct. It's by one of the casinos,
and Xfinity Live and everything's just within walking distance of each other.
All right there.
Okay. They were going to remove just the Sixers and put them farther into the city. Like, how many miles away from Stadium District would this have been?
7 or so. They would have put them in downtown Center City, Philadelphia, right there, right there,
and by
right on Market Street.
By doing so, they would have had to completely wipe out the cultural district, like Chinatown, correct?
No. Okay. So there is a standing building there. It's the old Greyhound station, and the Gallery Mall. It was rebranded as the Fashion District. There is space there. It is a dying area, So, and that was for the pro arena people. One of the arguments was like, well, what about Market East? Now it's not getting an arena. It's like, sure, cool. It's not getting the arena. That doesn't mean it's not getting anything. Like, I think it will be better served by something that will see more than 40 nights a year. But what do I know?
I thought I read that they were still going to go forward with taking the kind of rundown areas that the stadium was going to go on and still turning into some level of shopping district or like some level of something. I thought I read somewhere that what they're doing this way is actually going to create 2 different job projects. Instead of just the one project to build the arena, it's going to be the project to build the arena and something else. I forget what the other thing was. But I thought, or maybe they're turning Stadium District into more of that, like, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, like, like real Atlanta, the Atlanta model.
Yes, that's what the proposed theory is. No one knows. They haven't come out and said that yet, but that is what the proposed theory is. That's what CB's running on. But yeah, so Macy's has just announced that they are leaving the Wanamaker building also, which is part of that Market East area. So there are plans to redevelop the whole. That's not a Philly thing. That was a Macy's thing.
Right. For sure.
But there are plans to revitalize that part of the area, and everyone's like, "Oh, the arena was going to revitalize that part of the area," which I don't know how. Like, I don't know how 40 basketball games a year with this big monolith thing staying dark for 380 or 280 days, 320 days, whatever. Because I'm sure they'd get some special events and stuff in there too.
And call me crazy, but doesn't it, like, yes, sometimes when there is the right combination of sporting events happening simultaneously, traffic there in the Stadium District sucks, but doesn't it kind of make sense to contain all that traffic into the one area and leave the rest of Philly open for business? Like, wouldn't that just create another traffic snarl?
Yeah.
7 miles away.
Part of the problem with the Market East new arena plan with the Sixers was it was purely dependent on SEPTA upgrading and people taking it.
Oh Lord.
So there you go.
I mean, that's okay. So it was truly a terrible idea that almost got passed. That did get passed by council.
It did get passed.
And if it wasn't for, ironically,
Roger Goodell,
if it wasn't for a bunch of billionaires, it'd be happening. But thankfully, the Sixers and Josh Harris said, "Yeah, I'm good."
The commissioner of the NFL had more interest in the people of Philadelphia than its own city council.
That is shameful stuff. That is crazy to me. That's wild. That's crazy. So that's got you amped up, huh?
Yes, which should lead you perfectly into yours.
Yeah, man. I'm hopping into media stables. It's funny, folks. When we first came up with our bits, and Danny, what was the new proposed name for media stables?
Media dump.
Media dump. I kind of like. Well, I don't love that. I'm a little over the Dumb and Dumber humor. But so here's our.
No, I'm not. So
I know you're not. Okay.
Well, hey, we'll put it out there for the Chasers. It gives us a chance to dump out, get media out that we wanted to talk about that has been out there, but we didn't get our shot at it because we go once a week. So we can dump that out, or we can dump on someone or something.
That's so true.
Media dump. So I'm sticking with the fart joke.
So, all right, I'll allow it. But folks, here's my media stables this week. When we first created media stables, there was a lot of Philadelphia writing, listening, etc. that we consumed, and one of the larger sources of entertainment, etc., was Crossing Broad. It was a great website. It was like a Philly-centric junior version of something Bill Simmons would create, and like that's my vibe. You had snarky little Kyle Pagan the Pagan doing his little everyman bits. You had Anthony Sanfilippo, which gave you some really good like media credentials, like, oh, this guy's good. You had Kevin Kincaid, who was kind of the weird mixture between the two, and it worked for a time. I don't know what's happened to them, but now every other article is pretty much just some BetMGM BS advertisement masquerading as an article. And honestly, with all the professional websites out there, who in the world is going to Crossing Broad for betting advice? That's like going to Theo Vaughn for, quote, supporting the 19th Amendment. It just doesn't make any sense. Not only that, but their articles have become so plastered with ads. And these are the type of ads you can't click out of. And there's no way to read the article in its entirety the first time. And let's be honest, these guys aren't Bill Simmons. Like, they're not worth the hassle to get the words. So I don't know why I even bother reading up on these guys, but it breaks my heart. There was a time when they were worthwhile, and it bugs me that they're not anymore. So that's my media stables. Crossing Broad, do better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I sent you a text that said like they're Philadelphia Barstool Sports, and I meant that
derivatively.
Yes, but then like 20 minutes later, it was like, wait, they would think that was a compliment. So there you go.
They would love that.
And that's part of the problem. I'm with you. I still think Kyle, when I see his stuff, his man on the street stuff it's comical. It is a little clever. I will give.
He's good at what he does. He is good at what he does.
He is good at what he does. He's also a Philly guy. I see him.
True.
I see him jogging around Fishtown on Sunday mornings. Like I've seen him on the streets of Philadelphia. Kevin Kincaid, on the other hand, like this.
Real quick. I'm so sorry. Is Kyle banned from CBP or something?
I don't know why.
I notice he never has content inside of CBP, always around CBP. I knew about the dollar dog thing, so like I didn't know if like he had to. I don't know if they had like a restraining order on him or something. It's interesting. I've never seen him.
He had video of him that one dollar dog night where he bought whatever the amount was and was tossing around to people.
Right.
I do know there is something up with the Phillies organization and him. I don't know what it is. It's just been mentioned.
They did shut down his dollar dog event. So yeah. But anyways, I'm so sorry to unamp you up, but please, you were about to get amped again.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Kyle's in the parking lot, and this attitude from Kevin Kincaid that like he has not stopped crying about the arena not going through or not being on Market East. And like, dude, live in Philadelphia. No one wanted it. Like these Delco and Montco and outside of the area of Philly guys, like I get it. You work in Philadelphia. You got people adding you with bigger names in the city that I will ever have. You've got you are in the DMs of large names and personalities in the market of this city that I will not have. That doesn't make you one of us, my man. That doesn't. So you like the sports teams and you go to them occasionally, or you live out in the suburbs. Stop crying about the arena that was going to ruin a city that you don't even live in, bud. Like this faux Philly guy, because I'm from outside of Philly and like their sports teams. Like, no, this matter is something that you should have never have talked about.
What is his reason to be pro? Why is he pro this idea?
I don't know, because he's a knuckle dragging maggot chud. I don't know. Because there's money to be made, god damn it. Capitalism, blah. Go put another article about punching Harris in the face. You know, like enough with that crap. It's one of the reasons why I unfollowed. You know,
yeah, like, their content really got pretty hateful. And just pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, since we're already talking about things that we hate, Danny, I suppose it might be time for us to slide into the DMs of our final segment, Love It or Hate It. This week's topic, you're the one that proposed it. Would you like to announce it?
Shaved Head Casty.
Shaved Head Casty.
Nikki Two Buttons was on, what was it? The Charlie Rose rotation. It's
more like Nikki Two Guard.
that wasn't bad. That's not bad.
Thank you.
It's on the John Boy Media platform.
It'll probably be our cover photo for this week's episode.
No, I sent that over to you.
Oh, that's right, you did. All right, then we'll put it up on Facebook just so you guys have something to reference.
Yeah. Even though now I don't know, but. He's sporting a shaved head through this interview. It's an interesting interview. Did you watch it? I watched it.
I did not yet. No, I it's been a really busy week for me. So this is finally when I'm starting to slow down. I'm able to catch up on personal life things because it's just been work and family life. So yeah, but I'm gonna, because it's Casty. I'll listen to any word he says.
Yeah, it was great, but he's rocking a shaved head. They asked him about it. He said, "Oh, that was last year's thing." It's worth the interview. He's deadpan, not that entertaining, but he says some interesting stuff.
Anything that stood out to you?
There was a question about, he was talking about the Bronx cheer in game 2 of the playoffs.
The sarcastic clap.
Yeah, and how like he was
awesome.
Did that whole like, well, you know, like I'm playing for me, so like get in my head. But they did. He was asked, you know, like, is it tough playing in Philadelphia? If you had a buddy who was looking at a couple teams, would you say, "Hey, come to Philadelphia"? And he kind of said, you know, if it's someone I really cared about, I'd dive into it a little more with him and be like, hey, you know, if you're getting this much from San Diego, but this much from Texas, you know, you're going to keep more in Texas, you know, because it's San Diego taxes. So, you know, like I would dive into all that stuff. But what I would say is if you want to be, you know, loved by a group of people, don't come to Philly. Like you do have to be tough. You do have to understand that, you know, it's if you want to be just loved unconditionally.
No, we have very, very strict conditions. That is, we are like cats. We're not dogs. We're not undyingly loyal. Okay, we're like cats. You got to earn it, and then you got to manage it. Okay.
He did also bring up. No, he did also bring up that he was like, you know, we just won the division. We were resting a couple of guys, so we had some young guys out there, and we're getting booed off the fields during the Cubs game right after we win the division, and we're resting guys. So, like, times like that, we're in the locker room, we say to ourselves, like, these effing people. So, like, yeah, take that for what it's worth.
What do you think of that statement?
I think it's probably true.
I think I'm conflicted because the toxically masculine sports fan in me is like, bro, you get paid enough money, like suck it up and yeah, like win every game. But the human in me is like, all right, I guess we don't really have to be that psychotic with our fandom.
No, I'm
We
with
can
you.
just
Like,
celebrate.
here's the
It's
thing, and
tough.
right, we've said it before many times on this show. Like, we have the ability to be unathletic nerds talking on a podcast, right?
So true. We know
And
nothing.
right,
We're just sports. We are typical sports fans.
absolutely. But the one thing we do know is, like, yes, hitting a baseball is hard. Hitting a baseball on the professional level is hard. And he does say, he was like, oh, well, hitting's hard. Like, yeah, dude, we know that. But that's also why you get 20 million a year to do it.
Right.
And it's why you can do it. You are one of the hundreds of people in the fraternity that can do it, that get paid millions to do it. We know it's tough. We understand that launching a ball that is coming at you at 90 something with movement, and you're blasting this thing through the air 400 and something feet over a brick wall is extremely difficult.
Fielding's no peach.
Right. That it's a tough game.
It is. It is.
That being said,
Basics.
I might not have the physical ability to do it, but I do have a mental capacity to, like, hey, maybe I should have an approach. Maybe I should have an approach. Like, let Mr. Muscles knock it 400 and whatever feet. I'll be the guy with that has an approach.
I mean, given what you do, like, I imagine you may not be an attorney, but you know when an argument is not going to win. Like, so I get that, dude. I get that.
Yeah, there's people that you things for. Like, hey, I can't do it, but here's what I can do. Lay off the crap is what I can do.
I can do that. I can.
And if I get a piece of it, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll get some dribbler, and if I leg it out, I might get the first. But, like,
as much as I love baseball, my ability to hit a baseball is so bad.
Oh yeah, no,
I would never like. I don't think I could hit anything over maybe 60 miles an hour if I'm lucky. I am. Yeah, no, I was not. I was the slow pitch softball kid in the batting cages. No,
yeah,
no shit.
When I go to the cages, I top out, like, on the curve machine. Like,
oh yeah,
at like 45, and then it's over after that. But that's me. Oh, what else was actually there? Was the John Boy when he got hit by pitch in the Rays game.
Oh, well, he got real incensed.
Yeah, and he was like, so how did Jimmy do? How'd he do with the thing? He's like, oh, he's spot on. He got it.
Dude, he is really good. I mean,
yeah,
he's on.
So then they showed him the sequence of tipping the pitches with the flares, and he does say, he's like, listen, I see ball, hit ball. If a pitcher is tipping pitches, it's got to be glaringly obvious, because Jimmy sounds like a genius watching this. Like, no, I didn't pick up on any of that.
And that's who he is, though. And we saw what happened at the beginning of last year when he tried to be more than that. Wasn't a good vibe. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the Casty life.
Absolutely. So love it. Love shaved head, Nick.
I'm all in. I always try to emulate Nick's hairdos and just general 2-button vibe. And if it's going to be a shaved head 2025, I think I could rock that. So don't tell Kara. Hopefully she doesn't actually listen to this episode, but I think I could do the buzz cut. And Casty, nicely done. Way to set the trend, baby. Way to set the trend. Danny, we did it. Episode 2.
We did it, man. That was fun. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll do better next time, I promise. And before the ant tries to move his rubber tree plant, we will be dropping a link at the bottom of this episode to a WHYY article that has hundreds of verified links and accounts to support the people on the West Coast during the LA wildfires. So look out for that. It will be linked at the bottom of this with all our other links. So with that, everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant.